you knew what I said in the last episode about my expectations for Stranger Things. I had nothing inside that was like, I want to get back into this. And they made this the dopest season I think I've seen ever. Like, I did not feel one element where I was just like, oh my God, they have overplayed this. Please get rid of these kids. No, I am. Oh man, it was so much more brutal, so much
Brutals.
more
Yep.
intense. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the best one, at least in season 1. It was brutal. Brutal's the word. It was definitely the most horrific. Like they definitely dived in the deep end as far as the horror was concerned.
Yep.
I think the first episode. What I noticed about the first episode was there was all these. It started with all these storylines. Like some guys were still in Hawkins, someone in California. Joy and then was kind of ready to head over to Russia, so that storyline was kind of percolating away. And it was I was thinking, I said, wow, there's a lot going on here, but hey, I'm keeping up with this. This is actually quite nice. Then it got to the ending, the chick on the roof. It was like, what is going on here? Yo. All right, see episode 2.
And that was my thought, like, which is why I'm like, yo, they should have stretched it. They should have given us the first 3 episodes and then week to week the last 4, because like it was when you ended it the way that it did, and man, man,
yeah, the Demogorgon,
and I think that was the thing that I liked the best. We did not deal with the stupid Demogorgons and the Flayer all over again, because I think that storyline was starting to aggravate me. Like constantly having to deal. All right, there's another rip, and then the Mind Flayer, and then the Demogorgons are gonna come through, and apparently this Upside Down connects so well with D&D perfectly, and which I'm pretty sure this game has to have gotten like dumb money after.
Stranger
Things. People have got to have been buying into this thing so much more. But
it was kind of it sets up. Yeah, I mean the whole. Speaking of episode 1, the whole they set up the whole D&D thing with the basketball game, that intercutting, which should to me on paper, if you said let's intercut a game of D&D with a game basketball, I said that's crazy. But what it says is that the editing in this and the storytelling is just really good. Like the way they keep those streams going, the way that they keep those storylines going, even the transition. So you may remember that I probably didn't this being a film person, but you see they'll cut back from a scene, they'll go up in the sky, and then they'll go to the airplane where Joyce and the funny dude. And there's just tons of those moments where they just seamlessly just go from one to the other. And what I noticed, particularly in that last one, particularly when things start heating up with 7, she's in that. Sorry, 11.
With 11,
when she's in that thing and blood's going everywhere, and things again, she's in there getting those tests, and things are heating up over her, with her getting those her memories, and you've got Hopper about to go on with the Demogorgon. I never felt, as we were just flipping between these stories, I never felt, wait, go back there, or can we get out of this now?
It gave you everything that you needed to see. Exactly. It was truly the epitome of show and not just tell.
Yeah.
Which is, as a filmmaker, that's key.
Absolutely.
Each of these episodes, everything made sense. Even I wanted to kill off that basketball player, but you needed it. But But what was so good was like they didn't make them the typical 80s bullies movies. They made them the bully that's actually in real life. Like that's the guys that exist now, the evangelical preachers. That's the well, not Ben Shapiro, but that's the
I get you. Yeah. He's the charismatic leader who taps
charismatic evangelical leader, which is the dangerous part.
Yeah. But he had lots of reason to be motivated. His girlfriend got whacked up against the roof, and then he saw his friend, both of them, Eddie.
Yeah.
Great new character, probably my favorite new character. He
you relate to him in a much more connected way.
You know who he is. You know who he is, don't you? You know who he's based on.
He's based on Pauly Shore, right? Not Pauly Shore in total. No.
Partly, but his name's Eddie. He's got long black hair.
Van Halen. You're Van
Eddie
Halen.
Van Halen. Oh, my boy Alec, who watched every episode, he got an education all right from the 80s. So there's the one scene in there where they're trying to find Reefer Rick.
Yeah.
They're trying to find the drug dealer to find Eddie. So, we'll go through his videos. And I just said, Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong. And Alex said, who's Cheech and Chong? Just watch Cheech and Chong. Well, why would they fight Cheech? Every stoner in the 80s watch Cheech and Chong.
Yep.
And then, of course, Kate Bush running up that hill comes on. And I was like, and I was just picking the songs. I was like, that's Kate Bush running up the hill. So that's got #1 apparently now on the charts. Of course. So as it would, so I was in my 80s element, just knocking off, and of course, then there's just Freddy Krueger immediately just come. He's got the long, he got the wrong hands.
Coming into the dreams with the fingers. Fingers.
Of course, we would have seen Silence of the Lambs. Going down there.
Credit to them for bringing in the actor who did Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Robert Englund.
Yeah,
dude, I guess if you're gonna steal off the best and be open about it, like we're gonna steal this.
But that's why I said this was this was the most 80s, not 80s feeling movie. I genuinely felt like you could put this in any time outside of the clothing and it worked. Which is significant for me because again, I was starting to get worn down by we're in the 80s. Yes, super 80s. Everything's 80s. Blah, 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 blah. It wasn't that great of an era, but it was all right. But now it feels like what the 80s would be, where it's just it just is. It just happens to have different styling.
You're right. The storytelling made it so that you weren't engulfed in the little details. You were going along with the story. Just had the whole 11 versus the bullies thing. That was I thought they was going to go full Carrie. I thought, including when the blood. I think there's one bit she gets covered in blood. And I thought, I said, Alec, hang on, she's going to go full Carrie. Right? There's going to be this. Just going to just burn this skating rink. Which again, I went to a skating rink exactly like that. Markavat Skateway. So that was good. But when she came and she knocked him on the head with she knocks him on the head with the skate, and everyone sitting around looking all shocked. I was thinking.
Tell me, this was the most. When I tell you the level of release and dopamine whenever she knocked that chick out with the skate, it was so great. It was so needed. But I got angry because everyone was around looking at her like, "Oh, you're terrible," and I was thinking, "No, love, pick up that skate." So I did in the middle of the stuff, right?
Bang her on the head again. Do it again. Do it again. Just say, you sons of bitches, this is what happens when you mess with me. Who's next? Don't be apologetic.
What I don't understand, they're surprised after seeing her get bullied like that, and they're surprised.
That was that component of the 80s, and that's why I said that is what the 80s feels like. It was a moment, because that was the same with the early 90s. It was a moment where bullying it wasn't TV bullying that they're necessarily trying to kill you every single time, but the level of humiliation and the acceptance by everybody else because of the fact that you don't want to be the person that gets called out for not being part of the fun. Yeah. That's the element that I believe, that's the bullying that made the most sense.
Yeah. And it also, in the context, so it was also the forerunner. It's also to what was going to happen in
the reflex, the recapping of her.
Yeah, history. When she was young and stuff, which was very well done. That whole sequence was very was really good. Because
the fact that they did genuinely good job of making 11 come off like she possibly could be. One, it was I get why you're so powerful, so that was a really cool thing, but are you out of control? And then always kind of taking that away by her not having her powers with her in those moments. man. It was such a good contrast off of each other. But
So,
I probably should have realized the orderly would have been that. Like, I figured it out basically as soon as the thing came out. Before the thing came out, I was like, oh, he's number one. I was like, okay.
I picked the number one reasonably early, and always had in the back of my mind that you hadn't seen her kill those people. Right. I hadn't seen her. So there was a chance that she might not have done it, right? So that was always there. I wasn't 100% sure she hadn't done it, but it was always a possibility. But when he started appearing more and more, I thought, oh, he could be. I didn't know everything else that was going to come out.
And that's the part where I give him the most credit, because they threw us off with that second half of it, which honestly, though, that second half also confused me from a timeline perspective, because it would basically have meant that dude had to have been in like his 30s.
Yeah, but I like with memory. That's what they were saying. Memories are murky.
Yeah.
So, like, she could be remembering things differently from what had actually happened, like in the beginning, anyway.
Right.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I haven't sat down and put the complete timeline. I don't know if anyone's put the complete timeline of that dude and what he went through.
Because it was like 1950 something that they entered into the house, and it was within like 6 months that his power started like going haywire and started moving and scaring his family and then killing them. And he was 10, 12 years old, between 8 and 12 in that early stage. Initially. Yeah. And then he went into the coma. So it was just like that part. And again, it's a nitpick, because regardless, I think the actor was great. Like he was a perfect psychopath look. You know, very Jeffrey Dahmer's.
He's very those scenes.
Ted Bundy.
Very The Omen, as far as the child actor.
Exactly, which is another reason why creepy, quiet kids cannot be allowed to be like that. All right, you make them talk. You make them talk, because I refuse to have Devil Child be holding it.
If you ever have children, your children will talk. I have that will never be a problem. They will be loud. And if they're not loud, they can hang out with my kids and learn how to be loud.
Let's remind our friends to please click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new videos out.
Subscribe!
Die or die.